the mind that cannot be easily broken. What if you could become the kind of person who stays calm when everything around you is falling apart? What if criticism could no longer control your mood? What if rejection could make you wiser instead of weaker? What if failure could become fuel? And what if difficult people could no longer steal your peace? Most people spend their lives trying to control the world around them. They want people to behave differently. They want circumstances to go according to plan. They want success without failure. They want respect without rejection. They want comfort without discomfort. But life does not work that way. You cannot control everything that happens to you. You cannot control other people's opinions. You cannot control the past. You cannot control the economy, the weather, unexpected problems, or the decisions of other people. But there is something you can train: your mind. Thousands of years ago, Stoic philosophers understood something incredibly powerful. You don't become mentally strong by creating a life without problems. You become mentally strong by training yourself to face problems without losing yourself. Stoicism was not about becoming emotionless. It was about becoming emotionally disciplined. It was about learning how to respond instead of simply reacting. Today, we're going to explore powerful Stoic habits that can help you develop a stronger, calmer, more disciplined mind. These aren't magic tricks. They aren't overnight solutions. They're practices. And like physical strength, mental strength grows through repetition. So listen carefully, because by the end of this video, you'll have a practical Stoic framework for handling stress, criticism, failure, uncertainty, temptation, and difficult people. Let's begin. Habit 1. Control what is actually yours. One of the most important Stoic principles is simple. Some things are within your control. Other things are not. Your thoughts, choices, actions, effort, attitude, and responses are largely yours. Other people's opinions, their behavior, the past, unexpected events, and the final outcome are often outside your control. Yet most people reverse this. They obsess over what they cannot control while neglecting what they can. Imagine you have an important interview tomorrow. You prepare. You practice. You research the company. You arrive on time. You give your best answer, but you don't get the job. What happens next? A weak mind says, "I wasted my time. I wasn't good enough. Why does this always happen to me?" A Stoic mind asks, "Did I prepare properly? Did I give my best effort? What can I learn from this?" The first person gives their piece to the outcome. The second person keeps ownership of their response. This is the first mental shift you need to practice. Stop asking, "How can I control everything?" Start asking, "What is actually mine to control?" Every time anxiety appears, pause. Ask yourself, "Is this problem within my control?" If yes, act. If no, accept. This does not mean doing nothing. It means directing your energy toward the part that actually belongs to you. You can't control whether people like you, but you can control whether you behave with integrity. You can't control whether someone insults you, but you can control whether you insult them back. You can't control whether your plans succeed, but you can control how seriously you prepare. You can't control what happened yesterday, but you can control what you do today. This distinction can save you enormous amounts of mental energy. A strong mind does not waste its strength fighting reality. It works with reality. Pause before you react. Your first reaction is not always your best reaction. Someone sends you a rude message. Your emotions rise. Your hands want to type immediately. You want to defend yourself. You want to prove them wrong. You want to hurt them back. But Stoicism teaches you to create space between the event and your response. That space is where your freedom lives. Imagine someone says, "You are a failure." You can immediately believe them. You can become angry. You can argue. Or you can pause, take a breath, and ask, "Is there anything useful in what they said? If there is truth, what can I learn? If there is no truth, why should I carry their words?" This is emotional discipline. You don't have to respond to every stimulus. A notification does not require your attention. An insult does not require your anger. A disagreement does not require a war. A negative opinion does not require a defense. Practice the 3-second rule. When something triggers you, stop, breathe, think, then respond. Those 3 seconds may look insignificant, but repeated thousands of times, they can change your personality. You become less reactive, more thoughtful, more difficult to manipulate, and much harder to provoke. Remember, someone who can control your reaction can influence your behavior. Don't hand that power away so easily. Expect difficulty. Most people are shocked by problems. Stoics expect them. This doesn't mean being pessimistic. It means being prepared. Before beginning your day, remind yourself, today may not go according to plan. Someone may disappoint me. Something may break. I may be misunderstood. I may face delays. I may experience frustration. And if something difficult happens, I will handle it. This simple practice changes your relationship with adversity. When difficulty arrives unexpectedly, you think, why is this happening? But when you already understand that difficulty is part of life, you think, of course, life contains challenges. Now what should I do? Imagine you leave home expecting perfect traffic. You encounter a massive traffic jam. Your entire mood collapses. But if you had already accepted that delays are possible, the situation wouldn't feel like a personal attack. You simply adjust. This is mental preparation. Before important situations, ask, what could go wrong? What would I do if it happened? What part would still be under my control? You are not predicting disaster. You are training flexibility. A strong mind doesn't require perfect conditions. It learns to function under imperfect conditions. Practice voluntary discomfort. Modern life teaches us to avoid discomfort. If we're hungry, we eat immediately. If we're bored, we open our phones. If something is difficult, we search for an easier option. If someone disagrees with us, we avoid them. But constant comfort can make the mind fragile. Stoic practice sometimes involves deliberately experiencing small amounts of discomfort. Take a cold shower. Walk instead of driving when practical. Put your phone away for an hour. Exercise when you don't feel like exercising. Wake up when your alarm rings instead of negotiating with yourself. Spend some time without entertainment. Choose the harder reasonable options sometimes. Why? Because you're teaching your brain, I can experience discomfort without obeying it. That is a powerful lesson. Suppose you're working on something important. After 20 minutes, you feel bored. The weak habit says, let's check social media. The disciplined mind says, boredom is uncomfortable, but it isn't dangerous. And you continue. Over time, you develop the ability to remain present when your emotions demand escape. That's mental strength. Discomfort is not always an enemy. Sometimes discomfort is the gym where discipline grows. Separate pain from suffering. Pain is part of life. Suffering often comes from a story we build around pain. You lose an opportunity. That's painful. And your mind says, I never succeed. Nothing good ever happens to me. My future is ruined. Now the original problem has become a much larger mental problem. The event was one thing. Your interpretation became another. Stoic thinking encourages you to examine the story. Ask, what actually happened? And then, what am I adding to it? Maybe someone rejected you. Fact, they said no. Story, I am worthless. Those are not the same thing. Maybe you made a mistake. Fact, I made an error. Story, I always destroy everything. Again, not the same. Train yourself to describe events accurately. Not dramatically. Not emotionally. Accurately. This is one of the simplest ways to reduce unnecessary suffering. Stop needing everyone's approval. One of the greatest weaknesses of the modern mind is the hunger for approval. You post something online. You check how many people liked it. You say something. You wonder whether everyone agreed. You make a decision. You worry about what people will think. But if your self-worth depends on other people's approval, you become their prisoner. Stoic philosophy teaches you to focus on character rather than applause. Ask yourself, was I honest? Was I fair? Did I act with courage? Did I keep my word? Did I do what I believed was right? Those questions matter more than, did everyone like me? You cannot make everyone approve of you. Even the most respected people in history have critics. So stop trying to win an impossible game. You don't need universal approval. You need self-respect. And self-respect comes from living according to your principles. Turn insults into information. Being insulted can reveal something about both people involved. Sometimes criticism is wrong. Sometimes it is useful. The Stoic response is not, everyone who criticizes me is jealous. Nor is it, everyone who criticizes me is correct. Instead, let me examine it. If someone says, you're not good at communicating, don't immediately become defensive. Ask, could there be something here I need to improve? If yes, improve. If no, release it. Imagine someone throws a stone at you. You don't have to carry it home. Likewise, not every opinion deserves permanent residence in your mind. Learn to examine criticism without becoming controlled by it. Take the lesson. Leave the insult. Use failure as training. Failure hurts. Pretending otherwise isn't necessary. But failure does not have to become your identity. A Stoic sees failure as information. You tried. Something didn't work. Now you have data. What went wrong? What assumption was incorrect? What skill is missing? What should change next time? This mindset turns failure into education. Think about a person learning to walk. They fall many times. We don't look at a child falling and say, you are a failure. We understand that falling is part of learning. Adults forget this. They fail once and immediately decide, I'm not capable. No, you're learning. Maybe you need a better strategy. Maybe you need more practice. Maybe you need patience. Maybe you need to change direction. Failure is an event. It is not a permanent identity. Practice negative visualization. One powerful Stoic exercise is to imagine losing something you currently take for granted. Your health, your family, your freedom, your job, your home, your opportunities. This isn't about becoming depressed. It's about developing gratitude. We often appreciate things only after they disappear. Negative visualization trains you to appreciate them before that happens. Look around your life. There are ordinary things you might be ignoring that someone else desperately wishes they had. The ability to walk, a meal, a safe place to sleep, a person who cares about you, another morning, another opportunity. When you consciously recognize these things, ordinary life becomes valuable. Gratitude doesn't eliminate problems. It prevents problems from becoming the only thing you can see. Remember that everything changes. Nothing stays exactly the same. People change. Relationships change. Bodies change. Careers change. Cities change. Seasons change. Even your own identity changes. Stoics understood impermanence. This awareness can make you calmer. When life is good, enjoy it without assuming it will last forever. When life is difficult, remember, this will change too. A bad day is not a permanent life sentence. A difficult season eventually moves. This is why you should neither cling desperately to pleasure nor surrender completely to pain. Everything moves. Everything changes. So learn to stand steadily while life changes around you. Keep a daily Stoic journal. You don't need a complicated journal. 10 minutes can be enough. At night, ask yourself 3 questions. First, what did I do well today? Second, where did I lose control? Third, what will I do differently tomorrow? This creates self-awareness. Maybe you notice that you become angry when tired. Maybe you discover that social media destroys your concentration. Maybe you realize that certain people constantly trigger you. Maybe you notice that you keep delaying difficult tasks. Awareness gives you something to work with. Without reflection, we repeat patterns. With reflection, patterns become visible. Your journal becomes a mirror. And the purpose of a mirror isn't to judge you. It's to show you what needs improvement. Do the thing you keep avoiding. Every day, there's probably one task you know you should do, but don't want to do. Make the difficult task your first serious victory. Write the email. Start the workout. Study the lesson. Make the phone call. Clean the room. Finish the project. Have the uncomfortable conversation. Why? Because avoidance teaches the brain. This is too difficult. Action teaches. I can handle difficult things. Every time you complete something you were tempted to avoid, your confidence grows. Not because you told yourself you're strong, because you gave yourself evidence. Confidence is often built through promises kept to yourself. Master your desires. A person who cannot control desire cannot be completely free. Think about how many things constantly demand your attention. More money, more attention, more followers, more entertainment, more food, more comfort, more recognition. There is nothing automatically wrong with wanting improvement. The problem begins when desire becomes dependency. If you believe, I must have this to be happy, you have created a chain. Stoicism teaches moderation. Enjoy things, but don't become their servant. Use technology. Don't let technology use you. Enjoy comfort. Don't become incapable of discomfort. Want success, but don't make your identity dependent on success. The goal isn't to want nothing. The goal is to remain stable whether you get what you want or not. Speak less, observe more. A strong mind doesn't need to comment on everything. You don't have to win every argument. You don't have to explain every decision. You don't have to respond to every rumor. You don't have to prove your intelligence. Sometimes silence is discipline. Listen, observe, notice patterns. Pay attention to people's actions instead of only their words. And before speaking, ask, does this need to be said? Is it true? Is it useful? Is now the right time? You will be surprised how much unnecessary conflict disappears when you stop speaking impulsively. Silence can be a form of strength. Accept what you cannot change. Acceptance does not mean approval. It means acknowledging reality. If something has already happened, arguing with the past will not reverse it. You can regret it. You can learn from it. You can repair what could be repaired. But you cannot rewrite yesterday. Imagine spilling water on an important document. You can complain for an hour. The document is still wet. Or you can immediately ask, what can I save? What can I replace? What can I learn? Acceptance moves you from resistance to action. The past deserves reflection, but your future deserves your attention. Train yourself to stay calm under pressure. Calmness is not something you magically have. It can be practiced. Start with small situations. When you're waiting in line, don't immediately reach for your phone. When traffic is slow, practice breathing. When someone interrupts you, pause before reacting. When technology stops working, notice your emotional response. These small moments are training opportunities. You don't need a crisis to practice calmness. Practice calmness during ordinary irritation so that you can access it during extraordinary difficulty. Think of it like a muscle. You don't wait until you need to lift something extremely heavy before training. You prepare beforehand. Stop comparing your life to others. Comparison can destroy peace. Someone has more money. Someone looks better. Someone is more successful. Someone is younger. Someone has a bigger house. Someone has more followers. But you are comparing your behind the scenes with their highlight reel. And even if the comparison is accurate, what does it accomplish? Your job is not to become someone else. Your job is to become a better version of yourself. Compare yourself with your past. Are you more disciplined, more patient, more courageous, more honest, more focused, more capable? That's a useful comparison. The Stoic question is not, am I better than them? It is, am I better than I was? Remember your mortality. One of the strongest Stoic reminders is that life is temporary. You will not be here forever. Neither will I. Neither will anyone watching this video. At first, this sounds dark, but it can be incredibly clarifying. If you knew you had limited time, would you spend so much energy worrying about meaningless opinions? Would you spend hours in pointless arguments? Would you keep postponing the important work? Would you continue wasting relationships that matter? Remembering mortality can make life more intentional. It tells you, stop waiting for the perfect moment. Say what matters. Do what matters. Love people while they are here. Use your time carefully. Your life is not an unlimited resource. Time is being spent every day. Spend it wisely. Live according to values, not mood. Your mood changes. Your values shouldn't change so easily. You won't always feel motivated. You won't always feel confident. You won't always feel energetic. If your behavior depends entirely on your mood, your life becomes unpredictable. Instead, create principles. I keep my promises. I tell the truth. I finish what I start. I treat people with respect. I exercise even when I don't feel like it. I don't allow anger to choose my words. Now you don't need motivation every time. You simply follow your principles. This is discipline. Discipline means doing what matters even when your emotions vote against it. You may not control what happens, but you can train the person who faces it. That person is you. Build your discipline. Build your patience. Build your courage. Build your self-control. Build your ability to remain calm. Because the strongest person in the room is not always the loudest. Sometimes it is the person who can remain calm when everyone else is losing control. The person who can walk away from an unnecessary argument. The person who can accept rejection without losing self-worth. The person who can experience failure without abandoning the mission. The person who can suffer without becoming bitter. The person who can succeed without becoming arrogant. The person who understands that life will never be completely under their control and chooses to master themselves anyway. That is an unbreakable mind, and it isn't built in one day. It is built every day. One choice, one reaction, one uncomfortable moment, one disciplined action, one calm response, one promise kept, again and again and again, until strength becomes your habit, until discipline becomes your identity. Until peace becomes something that doesn't depend on the world around you. Start today, not tomorrow. Today, because the mind you build today will determine how you face the life that comes tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe my channel Animal Forte.